Mitch, let's head down the way to the Rockridge Rockets. Head coach Sam Graves, 2022, they were 10-2. They lost to Moreau Forsyth in the 2A state quarterfinals. They return a lot. They have a lot of production to replace Peyton Locke, Jacob Bain, Cameron Bonzak, but they do have some players back that they're very intriguing. They have some, position players and also some line and defensive type of guys that are going to be back as well. So for as much as the big names like Locke and Bonzak and Bain are gone, I think there's names here that are ready to step up.
Yeah, well, I'm curious because Coach Graves says they're developing a new QB in their system. Does that mean that Connor Deem is not going to be their quarterback this year, or does that mean that he will be their quarterback this year, maybe in just a different way? Because he stepped in last year.
Yeah, I think he may be playing quarterback at times, but I've also
Okay.
heard there is a freshman that will maybe
Oh,
assume the role. So
okay.
almost similar to what Orion did last year when they went with Kale Filler as a true freshman, as a freshman starting out right away. So
And whatever they end up doing, certainly we have full faith in Coach Graves. But wherever you put Connor Dean, right, is going to be a win. But you've got Alex Zarlatanis coming back, Jacob Fryermuth, who we've talked about both of those guys the past couple of years.
yeah,
Reed Muller, Tanner McKeague, Landon Bull. Shout out Nick Bull, friend of the show.
that's right.
Uh, Terrific basketball player, Landon Bull.
Yeah.
Uh, Caden Hart, Vaughn Free, Landon Wheatley. So you've got a lot of guys coming back from a team that was really, really good last year. A team that was a lot of fun to watch last year. So yeah, another team that we talked about with Princeton. Not always a team that rebuilds; they just reload and then they plug in place. They've got a great system there, and so I fully expect the Rockets to be in that sort of um, record range playoff run. I fully expect that again this year.
Yeah, I do too. With the pieces they have here, what I'm really interested in seeing is if there is a the freshman quarterback that steps in. I mean, you look back at the history, recent history of Rock Ridge, and they've had a line of successful quarterbacks, and that's been for the most part when Sam Graves has been here as head coach. So I think there's a track record there where Coach Graves and his offense has been able to work. Maybe not as freshman. He hasn't always had a freshman come in at quarterback, but if it's a talented athlete that can step in, you've seen that those type of players have worked in this Rockridge system. So that's intriguing to me. And obviously the intrigue with Connor Dean, right? I mean, he's just labeled, in the preview here as an athlete. Where
Mhm.
can you put him on the field to make sure he's getting the most touches? Or even if he's not getting that touch, he's distracting a defense just enough to leave somebody else open, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that plays out. And I'll be honest, like, I just love an athlete with Dean's skill set. Like, I just love the creativity you could do with him, right? You
Right.
can line him up at quarterback and have him run straight out of the quarterback position. If he
Mhm.
needs to pass, you could probably have him, design some passing plays for him. We saw him last year step in at quarterback, but then obviously the speed out of the running back position or a wide receiver slot type position. There's so much flexibility there. I want to see Sam Graves get creative. I want to see him have fun with this and see where he can put him.
Yeah, and they certainly put up a lot of points last year. Um, Interested to see how their defense looks. Certainly, that was a key portion of their success last year. So a big compliment to their offense. So what will their defense look like? Looking at their schedule, Greg. Certainly, we have week 2 scheduled where they play Ridgeview, Lexington, Colfax. That's going to be a great game, probably a potential playoff implication matchup. I mean, I think Colfax is normally 1A, but still a great team. But I look at this Rocker's schedule. I'm looking at 8-1. I really think that they have a chance to even run the table here. So looking forward to seeing Rockridge here opening up at home against Newman.
Yeah, that's a game that I kind of have circled as maybe a game I want to go to. That Rockridge Newman game to start the season seems like they always end up matching up early in the season in the regular season. So that's one that catches my eye. A few more names to read through on the defensive side of the ball: Jude Finch, Vaughn Friere on the defensive line, Ryan Lower as a linebacker. Obviously, Connor Deem will be a defensive back. Reed Mueller as a defensive back. Landon Bull, we referenced at linebacker, Zarlatanis at linebacker. So, just a lot of familiar names here.
Mhm.
So I think that they'll be in the mix, like you referenced. And so we'll get to our predictions in a few minutes here, but I think they're a team that we would consider to be in the mix. Obviously, you just said your prediction of their record potentially what it could be. So